That would be helpful. Yeah. Somewhere around 10 now that these warnings are being updated. Let Jeremy continue to get what he needs back here, and then we can go on.
I'm good now, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really care about waiting for commercial. I'd rather go now just because these are being warned for 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
We're going from the wall over here. The wall.
Yeah, well, I'll be back and forth in case I can't do something on the wall. Or to see an update if there's an update. Okay, what's going on back there? Yeah, I'm ready. Wasn't sure what you were doing. All right, I'm meteorologist Doug Myers with a quick update on these storms, and we'll get you back to programming here in just a second. But these severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect until 10:45, and also a portion of Potawatomi County until 10:30 as well. But all the current warnings have the potential for 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts. that is almost just as dangerous as a weak tornado. So you need to take these extremely seriously as these storms continue to push off to the east, as these storms are also producing some very heavy rainfall. We already had one round of some very strong winds and some hail move through Topeka, and here comes another round that's going to be coming through here in the next 20 to 25 minutes. But let's go ahead and take a look at where the strongest winds are. And we usually look at this when there's tornadoes, but we're going to show this also with winds because it does give us an idea of where the strongest wind gusts are, where you see that red showing up as against the red and the green. That's where the strongest of the winds are. So getting close to Maple Hill at this time, and then this will continue to work its way eastward. Let's see, I'm going to look at see what the speed is. It was at 35 miles per hour earlier. Now it's speeding up to 45 miles per hour. So we'll go ahead and put a timing on this to see how quickly this is going to be making its way through the area. And again, this warning does go until 10:30. And 10:45 respectively. So we can see in Topeka pretty close to around 10:30 with some of the stronger wind gusts, and Rossville 10:14, Lawrence by 11 o'clock. So these are moving fairly quickly, and so that's also increasing the wind speeds as well. Again, these could have close to 80 mile per hour wind gusts. We did have some hail earlier, and we've had some strong, or I should say larger hail moving through the area with some of these earlier storms, but now this is leaning more towards a strong wind event that's making its way into the area. So definitely want to be cautious of these storms. Again, these are not tornadic, but they can do just as much damage as a weak tornado. We've had several reports of some large hail and some very strong winds as they push through the area, including at 80 mile per hour wind gusts in Grandview and Geary County. We'll recap all what's occurring on our midday newscast. I will continue to put the strongest or the worst storms, if you will, on the ticker. Once we get back to programming, of course, we're live on Facebook as well, keeping you updated on these storms as they continue to work its way through the area. But again, these main storms probably going to make it into the Topeka area around 10:20, 10:30-ish with some very, very strong winds. So may not be a bad idea to start taking cover now and making sure you're staying away from windows. We'll keep you safe and informed, and we'll continue updating you on social media and right here on WIBW TV. We'll get you back to Price is Right. Okay, and I believe we should be live on Facebook, so if you want to get it back to Max 1.
I don't know, I can't hear me.
Yeah, I believe we're live. I'm just going to check to see if we are on Facebook.
Do you have an interactive tool up here?
Yeah, it's up there.
The same one I normally use as well?
Yes. No, it's the one you use. Looks like we are live, maybe?
Okay, live is good. All right.
I don't know if we can hear you, though. I don't know if your mic's on. Is Jeremy's mic on?
It should be. It's not on yet. Check it. See, we got it on. It's mic 1. They said it was...
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay. We can hear you.
Okay. So here's what we've got going on.
Yeah, keep all mics on.
The worst of this is this thing right here. So if you're watching us on Facebook Live, this is what we're talking about, 80 or 90 mile per hour winds. This is going through Wabaunsee County right now. And you let your friends know to watch this feed. Let your friends know to watch WIBW TV right now. Tell them to watch us on WIBW.com, wherever it is. This is going to come through Topeka. What we've got here is a bow segment right here. We've seen a lot of these over the years, of course, but what you see with these is it is always strong straight line winds. You can see small tornadoes sometimes right up here, sometimes right down here, called bookends, but that's not the big problem here. The problem is we have a big wide area with this bow segment rolling down I-70 very close to Maple Hill, and that's going to go toward Topeka in the next few minutes. So put this on loop, and you'll see the direction of this rolling right down the I-70, and should be crossing into Shawnee County shortly. So again, the Weather Service is advising that 80 or 90 mile per hour winds are possible with this line of storms. So back over to the reflectivity mode here, you can see the leading edge of the precipitation just to the west of the capital city. Starting close to Dover right now. We'll zoom in more closely on this again. And go and clear this off. All right, so here's the leading edge of the really nasty stuff. Doug, are you able to bring up the Maple Hill transmitter camera?
Maple Hill, yes, I can get that.
Is it in the feed, or is it already in Meadow? I just want to see if it's doing anything on Mito.
Yeah, I can take a look here. Maple Hill. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
If it looks like anything, great. If it looks like nothing, that's fine too. But it's kind of hard to make out what's going on with it. Okay.
Yeah, it's not the best.
Okay. How about the Menninger Hill camera? Do you have it ready?
Menninger Hill.
Can you drag it in the feed?
This would be this one right here.
Okay.
There we go.
So go ahead and turn that booger around to the west, and let's watch this thing come into the city. All right. So it's again a severe storm warning, which we have right now. We're looking straight south, and you can see the raindrops kind of coming in from left to right. So going toward the worst of the storm right now. But as Doug pans us around, we're going to see the shelf cloud. That's the leading edge of it. That's past it. Oh. There's the Kansas River here. And you can see the leading edge of the shelf cloud right there coming at the capital city right now. Again, we're on the lead right there at the nose of the Bow Echo. So this is going to be a very dangerous storm in the capital city. Back to the radar's fine if you would. Is it in play mode? Or I can probably hit it and just start it.
Yep, I got it.
There we go. All right. Let's put this back into the, I got to get it in play mode here. All right.
Okay, so yeah, what
hit
I have...
Hit the play button. Just hit this booger right here so I can control it.
Oh, this one. Okay.
Yes, thank you. All right, there we go. All right, now it's going to load. Okay, now I can actually run the thing. Here we go. We'll go zoom in on the thing. It's been out of the office a little while here, obviously, working from home, but all the tricks still work at the office too.
Yeah,
so there's the leading edge of this.
I can get rid of
right here, and you can see the shelf cloud from Topeka now rolling toward the west edge of the city and should be here within the next few minutes. I'm going to do the velocity on this again. We'll go ahead and check the values of how fast the winds are moving on this thing. We have right there. It's going to be, it doesn't tell me. All right, of course it doesn't tell me. We've got winds that look like they're going to be probably 80 miles per hour. Back to toggle. Will you do it? Yep, you'll probably do it. All right, here we go. 49. That was going to show me a 67. So we got 67 showing up in here, not quite showing the 80 on our velocity mode here on the radar, but that's what it looks like coming toward the city right now. So back over to the reflectivity. Again, it's a severe thunderstorm warning for all of Topeka with this for sure. We'll zoom back out. We've got several counties that are under warnings right now, not just the capital city. So go ahead and check out who else has active warnings. We've got one that also includes, it's Shawnee County, Jackson, Pottawatomie, Wabaunsee. The worst of the storm is in the eastern part of Wabaunsee County right now. So that is the one warning that's in place. Let's go to the next warning. Back over to reflectivity here and clear that. We'll check out what the new warning is. I think this is a new one that just popped on over here in the southern part of Wabaunsee County, and that's a severe thunderstorm warning for Pottawatomie County. Right now it's in place as well. And then we have one in the eastern part of Douglas County that's going over into the Kansas City metro at this point. Doug, what was the forward speed on the storm that's moving toward Topeka?
These are moving at 45 miles per hour.
45 miles per hour. Okay, so let's check out the velocity again here.
Just got a report of Paxico getting a 70 mile per hour wind gusts a couple minutes ago.
Winds. Okay, thank you. 70 mile per hour winds in Paxico now, the report. All right, so we're moving 45 miles per hour, so really right about there is going to be the leading edge of this. We'll take it out 45 miles per hour and see where we get to here across the city. So some of the landmarks here, we've got 10:24 a.m. West Ridge Mall is where it would arrive. 10:30 a.m. it says Topeka. Anytime you're looking at a map like this and it says Topeka, those maps mean the Capitol building. That's just a center point on a generic map, and it's not just us, it's going to be probably anybody that you'd see. If it just says the generic word, just Topeka, as an arrival, of course Topeka is a big, wide city, that's what it means. Bealled Airport, 10:34 a.m. Tecumseh, around 10:37 a.m. is the time of arrival for you. Now, if this is go a little farther to the south, we'll take it through the south side of the city too. We're looking at Forbes Field, 10:33 a.m. Highland Park at about 10:32, and also Farley Elementary at 10:24 a.m. will be the arrival time for you. What's the update there, Doug?
This is the updated warning that includes Shawnee County, still with 80 mile per hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail, and still moving. Let's see, moving at 45 miles per hour.
45 miles per hour, okay.
Or 50.
50, okay. There's that wind gust report we had a few moments ago right here. We've got 4 to 5 inch diameter tree limbs down. That's Paxico. 3 minutes ago, 70-mile-per-hour winds reported with that storm. That's an official National Weather Service storm spotter report that's come in there. So that's 3 minutes ago doing damage around Paxico, pulling down some limbs. As I put back on the velocity here, again, this is the nastiest storm, is the one that's rolling down I-70 here, but the nose of a Bow Echo like this many times will have the strongest of the winds. I'm actually going to stick my nose out the door here for a moment, see if I can see the Bow Echo, or the shelf clouds with my own eyes.
We also have a new warning while he's doing that just to
close.
In southern Shawnee County that is now just producing 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. So that's a little bit less intense down in our southern communities, but still producing that severe thunderstorm warning nonetheless. So here, as we go back to the radar version and put this into motion, you can see how it continues to work its way eastward as they're moving pretty quickly, about 50 miles per hour. And so we may start to see these storms begin to wind down around 1 o'clock or so. The severe thunderstorm watch does go into effect until 3 o'clock. So we'll obviously be keeping a close eye on what the rest of the day is going to bring with these storms. But the main severe weather may actually start to wind down a little bit earlier than that 3 o'clock. So that's certainly something that would be good news, and of course we'll be keeping a close eye on that. And so right now, again, all the current warnings have the potential for 60 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts and hail up to the size of quarters. Earlier we had some very, very large hail. In fact, I'm just going to take a look at some of the storm reports here, and I did post a link on my Facebook page that you can click on and continue to monitor live updates on what the reports are. So we've had an 80 mile per hour wind gusts in Geary County and Grandview, 78 mile per hour in Woodbine and Dickinson County. New Strong, Coffee counties, that is 75 mile per hour wind gusts, and Topeka also had a report of 70 miles per hour as well. So getting quite a bit of large hail in the earlier storms and some strong winds, and we've had some strong winds as well.
All right, Doug, so what I've got now, I've put a camera outside the building. If you can bring up TVU 3, this is my camera. I've got it setting out in the parking lot on the west side of the TV station. Again, the shelf cloud is going to come right at us here on the west side of Topeka and all of Topeka. And what you can see there kind of in the bottom left, just above the tree line, that is the leading edge of the strong straight line winds. And again, that's coming right at town. Doug, where is Menninger Hill in that show that we've got set up there? Is it still on the rundown?
Let's, no, I just clicked it.
shelf cloud at this time. So it's just, that's kind of the leading edge of it. The shelf cloud's a bit, you hear the thunder out there, you can see the shelf cloud a bit better to the south view. I'm going to take you back on radar if you guys will here. Station should arrive in the next few moments, but again, that's coming directly at the city. And the view from the tower camera, if I advance this again, get back over to Menninger Hill, I think. Is that the last one that's on
Nope,
there?
you got one more.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, there we go. All right, can you turn that around to the south now? There we go, keep going. So there's the leading edge of the shelf cloud now. So what we're seeing out the west door of the TV station, kind of a ragged looking part of the shelf cloud. This is the really healthy and stronger part of the shelf cloud now, going right toward the city. And you can see there where it goes from, you can kind of see where the cloud has some definition and some texture to it versus it's just kind of gray and you can't tell what's cloud and what's ground and what's rain. That's where the heaviest precipitation will be coming down, is going to be right in that area where you kind of have a hard time telling what you're looking at. But there's the lightning with that, obviously. And again, it's a strong straight line wind event coming through. It's not a tornado situation, at least not from what we've seen, but it does look like it's going to be strong straight line winds for a lot of folks. We had the report a few minutes ago of some damage in Paxico, 4 and 5 inch tree limb, diameter tree limbs coming down from that. All right, so looping this through again, we'll put the loop on here and watch it over the last 60 minutes, and you can see some of the change you see on this and the coloration, different things, are also because it gets farther away from the National Weather Service radar. So you got this circle right there, that's the Doppler radar itself, and it sees really well, obviously, but it can see everything except for what's directly above it. So when you're underneath the radar, or that circle around the radar, cone of silence is one of the things that's called. When you see things moving away from it, many times the difference in speed is because you're looking at a difference in velocity as the Earth kind of curves away. So you'll see that as it gets away from the radar. It can be losing some intensity, that's also possible, but many times you're seeing differences like that as rolling directly away from radar. It's a lot of times because you're seeing it just at a different distance from where it is in relation to the radar itself. All right, we'll go back over here and check out the cone track on this again. So the stronger winds look like they're just to the west of the city, right about there, and take it through the north side of Topeka, and I'll jump it to the southeast first, I guess. There's Forbes Field, 10:38 is going to be the arrival time. I'll drag it a little farther to the north. Now we'll take it through downtown about 10:32. Go ahead and take TV 3 if you guys will. So there's the view looking outside the TV station now, and the heavy rain beginning right now here at WIBW TV. Certainly the rain is heavier just south of here. What I could see on the that shelf cloud looking from Menninger Hill, it looked like the real peak of the winds maybe in the middle or south side of the city. But again, that's what it looks like here at the TV station on the west side of town. The trees not taking too bad of a beating just yet, but the heavy rain has now begun here at the station.
At first round, and
Yeah.
now we're not getting anything at all.
Right, the stuff to the south looks like it's probably stronger. And I'll go back here and we'll loop this again. And then we'll go back to the, you said the Menninger Hills is one past the hot button now? Is that what we got going on? Okay.
Should be it should be the last.
All right, jump forward here, guys. There we go. All right, we've got the severe thunderstorm warnings in place, one for Osage County, Emporia. We've got Coffee County in this as well. And these are all 60-mile-per-hour winds. And a thing moving through Topeka right now doesn't look like it's going to be 80 or 90 like it was, but there we go. That's the view looking south along Wanamaker now, and you can really see the heavy rain getting into Wanamaker. I'm betting that the winds there near the Westridge Mall and down toward High V, the winds are most likely to be stronger on that side of the city from what I'm seeing there on the radar, and obviously a lot of lightning with this. So we've got strong straight line winds. It's certainly possible with this thing as it's moving through the Topeka area. We've also got strong straight line winds possible with the southern storms too. Let's go ahead and check out some of the velocities down south. All right, we'll zoom in right here. Let me know what that says when you get it, Doug.
U.S. Highway 24 east of U.S. 59 to Phillips Road is closed with flooding over the highway.
Okay.
KDOT has been notified.
All right. Let's check out the velocity here near Burlingame. 47 miles per hour, not too terrible, but these are Doppler estimates. Certainly can be 60, but that's what we're showing right there, and the Doppler estimates approaching Burlingame right now. So panning to the south a little farther, we'll check out what's getting into Lyon County. There's Admire and Allen getting awfully close to Emporia here. So we've got some of the winds here, and I'm not sure this is even in the warned area down toward Emporia at this point, but these winds are likely to be in the 50 mile per hour range as well. All right, back to the reflectivity. We'll zoom back out to the home mode. And again, none of these are rotating. We don't have, it's not a tornado situation from what I see, but certainly straight line winds are going to be pretty common with this. We have a severe thunderstorm warning. That's for Douglas, Franklin, Osage, Shawnee, and let's see, the next one down here is to the south, this one, and it's going to be the severe storm warning for Coffee, Lyon, and Osage. We're going to have to get the time, the expiration.
Maybe for 11:15 is the expiration on that one.
The southern one?
Yeah.
I have to get those added back on there. All right, so the southern part of Jackson, we've got you in the warning as well. The winds could be 70 miles per hour with that possibly. That's what we saw around Paxico as winds were up to 70. Go ahead and take the TVU again for me. Station. And as we're looking at there, this is not wild wind out there. You can see that the branch there in the driveway is from the earlier storms. Certainly raining heavily, but the heavier winds look like they're probably going to be just south of the TV station, and probably going to be on the north side, maybe in northern part of Shawnee County as well. Going back to the radar, if you will. Thank you very much. All right, let's go back to cams here. Zoom in on the city. All right, let's go back in here and look at this severe storms going through Topeka right now. So we've got this one right here. That's going to be from the Cyrus Hotel, downtown Topeka area, looking off to the southwest. And that is what was the shelf cloud. Does not have the kind of definition it did earlier, but you can see that line right here. That's the leading edge of the stronger winds. As Doug was mentioning earlier, the stronger winds a lot of times outrun the rain. And I really think that's what's going on there. So we've got windier conditions on the southwest and southwest side of the city from what I'm seeing there. And right here at the TV station, the wind is not quite as rough as it was for folks around Maple Hill and Paxico a little while ago. So back on the velocity, and you can see the winds weakening somewhat. Looks like the southern part of it, we're now in Auburn, looks like it's probably getting the worst from Auburn to Burlingame, really. So we'll go ahead and put this back on loop.
So I'm looking at our live comments here. Mm-hmm. People are saying they can't hear Sean. I'm not sure why you guys are thinking you're hearing Sean. Sean's not part of this.
Okay, maybe maybe he's doing damage reports or something.
So maybe they're maybe these comments are converging with one another.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand to make sure we have sound working on ours, because we're getting back and forth with as far as people saying they can't hear us and they can.
Sean's in here now, guys. All right, we'll zoom more closely here. This looks like the stronger straight line winds, most likely. This part that's going through Carbondale and Burlingame, from what I can see there on the velocity mode of the radar. So around Scranton, Burlingame, Carbondale, Overbrook, you would have the stronger straight line winds coming toward you from what I can see at this point. We'll zoom this back out again. And again, that view I had looking down from downtown Topeka, from the Cyrus Hotel, looked like a pretty good look at the edge of the shelf cloud, and it's not as nasty across Topeka as it was a few minutes ago. This is not as rough. A little farther down the line, what's going northern part of Osage County looks to be the strongest part of it right now. Go ahead and take me back to the TVU shot outside, if you guys will. And this is a live shot from, if you guys on the bridge, can you hear me? Yeah, take TVU 3. Now, so if I opened up the back door, that's what I would see here. And what I can tell you from looking at that is these trees are not bending over or about to break. This is definitely not severe storm level winds by any means with what I'm seeing moving through the west side of the city. Sean, go ahead.
Really quick, Jeremy, wanted to tell folks that the officers are asking everyone to treat all intersections with no power to the traffic lights as four-way stops. Also, do not approach power lines. If you see a power line down, it could potentially be live. Do not drive over them, and call it into Evergy and 911 if needed. And then treat flooded roadways. We see a lot of the standing flooding, or the flash flooding, as many people like to put it. Do not drive through that because, again, turn around, don't drown. So again, officers are asking everyone, do not approach those power lines and treat all those traffic lights as four-way stops, because again, we're seeing over 3,000 power outages at major intersections throughout the area.
Graphics loading here real quick, Jeremy, and then you'll be able to run through the safety information on that.
Yeah.
Here's some power safety tips as we wait for the graphics to get ready here. There we go. And so, yeah, as Sean was mentioning, you have the clicker. As Sean was mentioning, of course, you want to not go through these power lines, stay at least 30 feet away from them, as you don't know if they're live or not. Just pretend that they are live, and that can be very dangerous. Don't touch one of those power lines, and always assume they are energized and dangerous, and don't attempt to move it either. So stay away from them, and we'll hopefully get those picked up as quickly as possible, but it may take a while because, of course, these storms have to get through the area before crews can even think about trying to pick up after all the damage, as that is safe to do so with all these storms moving through the area. So we continue with these severe thunderstorm warnings. The Jackson and Shawnee County going until 10:45, and the Douglas, Franklin, Lyon, Osage County one going until 11:15 for some strong winds, probably closer to 60, maybe up to 70 now. These winds speeds are starting to weaken a little bit, but certainly they're producing also some heavy rainfall and even some locally large hail. Not as large as what it was in the first round of storms that came through, but certainly these storms are still packing a punch as they continue to work their way eastward. Again, these latest warnings on these go until 11:15, so it is very possible that we may get the bulk of the severe weather done with by midday at noon. We'll continue to monitor that. Storms could still continue through the afternoon, but the severe weather threat may be lower after the noon hour, even though the severe thunderstorm watch does go until 3 o'clock. Obviously, we'll continue to evaluate this scenario and how this is all playing out with these storms as they continue to work their way eastward, but definitely something that we'll be definitely keeping an eye on as these storms continue to push eastward.
All right, thank you, Doug. So again, still severe storm warnings moving through the area. The worst report we saw so far in the last hour was that the 70-mile-per-hour wind report from Paxico at 10:07 a.m. So back onto the velocity here. You can see some of the stronger winds. Look like they're most likely right here in the middle of Osage County at this time, near Burlingame, Scranton, just about to get over Highway 75 and the intersection there with Highway 76. So we'll go ahead and zoom back in on this. Really looks like that's the strongest of the straight line winds right here, moving toward Overbrook. We'll go ahead and give you a line track on that, give you some times of arrival. So right here close to Scranton, down to Osage City. Moving to the east, Linden, of course, had some big hail earlier today. You may have some strong straight line winds coming through now with this. You got Quennamo arriving at 10:52, Carbondale almost right on top of you right now, actually. Linden's going to be in the path of this for the next 5 minutes. So I can grab this and bring it down a little farther south on the track. And Linden doesn't show up on my list. Why aren't you showing up on my list, Linden? I'm going to have to fix that. All right, so go back up to the north here. We got Overbrook. 10:47, and looks like Centropolis going to be closer to 11:07 is going to be your arrival time on that around you. So Kansas City has a severe storm warning moving through right now. We have the line of severe storms going all the way down to the folks around Emporia as well. But again, this severe thunderstorm episode is going to go on for a while. Here's what we have out there now from Minier Hill at Capitol Federal Skycam, looking down toward Wanamaker, and you can't even see it. This is about where what was Kelly Express, right in this area. That's 470. You can see right through there, but very difficult to pick it out with the very heavy rain moving through the city. But it does not look like the wind is not as strong around Topeka as what went through Paxico earlier. At least it hasn't been in the north and west side of town. Certainly back to the south, it might have been strong. In Osage County, looks like you have strong winds moving through at this point, but certainly the worst of the wind looks like it has not hit the northwest side of the city. So again, stay away from the power lines, no doubt about that. You do want to give yourself plenty of space around those things that just restarted that show.
Okay.
There, Doug. It'll take a moment for it to come back around. All right, so that's what we've got on the radar. Again, the severe storm warning until 11:15, Douglas, Franklin, Lyon, Osage, and then we've got one for Jackson, Shawnee going until 10:45. To me, it looks like the worst of the straight line winds is going to be in Osage County right now. We'll go ahead and go back to the velocity mode there, and from what I can see, those brighter colors going almost right through Osage City in the last few minutes. We'll zoom it back in. Right in the middle of Osage County, almost parallel to Highway 75, getting right over the intersection of 56 and 75 actually right now. So Carbondale to Overbrook, this is going to be the strongest of the straight line winds at this point.
And through the Facebook, getting comments on glitchiness. If you're getting glitchy video, just refresh your page. That always helps.
All right. So if you're getting glitches, that might be the thing to do. All right, so back on the reflectivity, we've got a lot of times you have the wind outrunning the rain. In this case, it looks like the rain and the wind are kind of right on top of each other, but from Carbondale to Scranton, really right down Highway 75 looks like the strongest of the straight line winds from what I can see right now. Back over the velocity mode, some of those brighter pinks on there represent winds that could be easily over 60 miles per hour. So if you're around Overbrook, I do encourage you to stay inside as this moves through. That's where you're going to probably see some wind damage out of this from what I'm seeing. I'll go ahead and loop this again, and you can see it rolling in from kind of northwest to southeast as it's heading toward Pomona. Linden just got hit with hail a little while ago this morning. Now you're looking to get some strong straight line winds moving through, but really this area, Carbondale, Overbrook, I believe that's which lake am I looking at there near Linden? Pomona, right. Ah, man, I want to call it John Redmond. I knew it wasn't. All right, so yeah, Pomona, that's what we've got right there. If you've got friends or family that are on Pomona right now, they need to get out of there quickly before the strong straight line winds move through. That could be a real hazard there in the next few moments. I'm going to stop this loop and do something manually here. Let me make sure I don't grab your mouse.
Yeah, hey, by the way, are we able, I don't know, Peyton's probably done with Max 2. Can we go to Max 2? And Jeremy, if you want to bring up your show if you want, that way I can maybe start working on my show for midday.
And just a moment.
If that's possible.
It's okay. All right, so anyway.
Okay, I mean, it doesn't have to be right now, maybe within the next 15, 20 minutes. Just
okay. The stronger winds I see, though, with this right now are really brightening up right there, and this is going to be the area getting right over Lake Pomona at this time. Overbrook, the strong winds are coming through the town of Pomona itself. It'll be arriving there as well, but this is going to easily be over 60 miles per hour. And the way it's starting to dive south and eastward I've seen this before. When they start to dive south and eastward like this on the bottom side of a bow, they tend to get pretty nasty. So around Pomona, Pomona Lake, Melbourne, Linden 2, you guys in this area should really be taking this seriously as it moves through. Now, what was moving through Topeka earlier, that does not look wild to me at all at this point. It looks like just a downpour of rain. But on the velocity mode, here you see the wild colors come across the eastern part of Wabaunsee County, kind of fades in the top side, and then this part becomes the dominant bow, and this is actually outrunning everything else. So right here around Pomona Lake, Overbrook, even down to Scranton, if we didn't get some wind damage reports from that, I would be surprised at this point from the way that's bowing and diving out away from everything else. So this segment right here, Carbondale, Overbrook, Linden, right toward Pomona, you guys should be inside as the winds are going to come through there at least 60. I bet there's 70 or maybe even a bit worse, but that's what you have with that part of the storm moving toward Pomona, or right on Pomona Lake right now. We'll put that on stop mode here, and I want to check out some of the details on this warning. Doug, do you have the text on the warning that's in Osage County right now?
Yeah, let's see, bring it up here. The one in Osage County.
It's on MaxRap beside you, left side of it.
At 10:32, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 3 miles north of Carbondale to 3 miles northeast of Osage City, 6 miles northeast of Emporia, moving east at 55 miles per hour. This is for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. So certainly, and they also could certainly have some very heavy rainfall within this system as well. So we are going to be looking at these strong winds and heavy rain continuing here in the near short term.
Thank you, Doug. All right, so 70-mile-per-hour winds possible with that. I don't see any official storm spotter reports with it yet at this point, but again, from what I'm seeing there on the velocity, this area right through here would surprise me if I didn't have some wind damage reports, maybe even quite a few of them from the way that's showing up on the velocity now. The warning says up to 70 miles per hour, and certainly that's very much in the realm of possibility. Now, the thing that's moving through Topeka, go ahead and take TV 3 if you guys will. So this was the northern part of the bow segment, and it really favored the south. So the north part of the bow is very heavy rain. We got lightning out there. It's breezy at times, obviously, maybe 30 mile per hour gusts, could be 40, but this is not going to be something taking down a bunch of trees or a bunch of shingles. Now go ahead and take back the radar, if you will, for me. And what we have here, the southern part of the bow, I'm going to put this back on the velocity mode here, and you'll see the bright pink showing up there, getting in the Overbrook area. That's the part of the line that I was more anticipating would stay a little farther to the north. But what we saw here was the bow really kind of split, if you will, as it went by Topeka. We'll loop it. And we had some of those stronger reports right here in eastern Wabaunsee County. The top part of the bow really lost a lot of its energy, and now it's really focusing its energy down to the south across Osage County.
We got a new
There's a
warning.
new warning coming in for it. Go ahead, Doug. Tell me what it says.
It's for portions of Anderson, Coffee, Douglas, Franklin, and Osage County until 11:30. I'll go ahead and read the text, and then as I'm reading the text, Jeremy, I have Max 2 up here for severe workspace, and I think Ian said he's ready to switch it over whenever you're ready, if you wanted to get that ready.
Read the text first.
But at 10:43, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Ridgeland to near Pomona Lake to near Olivet, moving east at 50 miles per hour. So this is what's going to be containing the 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible. Just some small hail, penny-sized hail, so not quite as bad as that first round of rain. But the wind and the strong or the heavy rain is certainly going to be an issue with this particular storm as it continues to work its way eastward. And you'll notice the warning that got extended all the way out towards Edora, almost towards Egerton, Stanton, Potawatomi, Walker, but it continues to work its way eastward. And the heaviest of the strongest of the winds now approaching Overbrook. And so that's certainly something that definitely bears watching. That's going to be the strongest storm right now, with the strongest winds across the area. But in general, expect anywhere from up to 60 to 70 miles per hour with these storms. And now all these storms are south of I-70. And so if you're south of I-70, that's where the strongest winds are right now, with the stronger winds as they continue to push their way eastward. And then just some heavy rain on the backside of the system along and north of I-70.
Just a moment.
All right, I'm just going to be putting that update on the crawl system up on TV with that updated information. See, 2 inches of rain being reported from the first round of storms by Corps of Engineers at Melbourne Lake. As what has been reported. Also have a report of an old report that occurred at 9 a.m. this morning of about 60 mile per hour wind gusts at Volland. And we have had quite a bit of storm reports with wind and hail that I'll try and compile at least the worst storm reports, or the highest wind gusts and the largest hail for midday in Kansas here at noon. Because sometimes looking at the reports that we have can be quite a bit. Oops, put the local storm reports on. You can see if when I put these on, it doesn't really mean anything. You can kind of see where the main line is. You can see right along I-70 got the bulk of those storm reports, and then those areas south of I-70 with the first round of storms that came through, and certainly could have more with the second round moving in.
Two's loading. You can take number 2 now. I think it should be visible. There you go. All right. So we've got a couple of different lines of storms moving through. We've got the flood warnings coming in, or some flood information coming in now as well. We have the, there we go.
You got it?
Now it advances. All right. So there's a live look from Menninger Hill with very heavy rain moving through the city. This is looking off to the southeast now and looking down from Cyrus Hotel in downtown Topeka. A downpour, of course, in the capital city right now.
It's got a 75-mile-per-hour report at Overbrook.
Overbrook.
6 miles southwest of Overbrook.
Okay. That's what it looked like on velocity. Was probably going that way with something like that. So toward Pomona, that's where you guys are still going to be in the path of that storm as well. Around Pomona, Quinamo, you guys are still in the path of that storm as well. So I want to make sure you guys are taking cover out ahead of it. Let me go back over to the radar here and bring up the velocity. All right, so the winds were gusting 75 miles per hour near Overbrook just in the last few minutes, and that will tend to do some damage when you get the winds that are, anytime they're over 58 miles per hour, it's considered to be severe and enough to do damage, but once you get up into that 70 mile per hour range, you're more and more likely to start seeing things getting broken. All right, so there's what we have. The strongest of the winds, I was mentioning a few minutes ago, going close to Overbrook, and now that's what we've got right there. I'm going to minimize this window so I can actually bring up the values from the velocity. There's an 89 showing up in there. There's a 70. So this is very strong winds that are going towards Centropolis, going through Overbrook right now, really, and heading toward Pomona. So that went right over Pomona Lake. Looks like the strongest of that straight line wind went just past Linden, and then down to the south a little farther. This near Lebo is awfully strong winds as well, likely around 50 miles per hour, maybe up to 70. So there's a strong batch of wind down to the south getting the northern part of Coffee County too. I'll put this back into motion, loop it. And again, your strong straight line winds right there, the ones that are going through Overbrook, that's what I was mentioning a few minutes ago. Looked like the southern part of the bow really started to dominate and take the energy out of this. And now we've got that damage report around close to Overbrook. We'll put up the report there, the official report. And it's from 10:46 a.m. 3 minutes ago, 75 miles per hour. So really just a few moments ago. Looks like there's the strong winds are going to be heading toward Pomona.
Now they've updated that wind to 80 miles per hour for Douglas, Franklin, Lyon, Osage, and Shawnee.
Okay, so for the southern part of Shawnee, so if you're in Shawnee, that new update on the warning, they're mentioning the possibility of 80 mile per hour winds, but that does not mean Topeka. That when they say Shawnee, they mean this small sliver from Wakarusa right down to the Osage County line, just that corner of Shawnee County, even east of the Turnpike. Okay, it's dead. It's probably just out of power. It's fine, unless the rain got it. But the strong winds, the worst of it is going to be this right here. That's moving out of Osage County in the next few moments here, and does have the history of producing winds up to 75 miles per hour. And the radar showing it could be as high as 89 from what I was seeing. I'm going to rescue my phone from the rain out there. I was waiting for the shelf cloud to hit the TV station, and it obviously went south. All right, so there it is. We'll loop it again, and if you're around Pomona and down into Ottawa, Princeton, that's the strongest straight line winds that I'm seeing on the radar by far, and that warning does say 80 mile per hour winds are a possibility. Now, this part of the storm down here near Lebo actually has a little cluster that looks to be stronger winds as well now. And that could be 70 miles per hour or worse. So Waverly, you are in the path of what could be 80 mile per hour winds as that continues rolling off to the south and east. Now I'll go back to just the overlook of the radar here, the composite, and you'll see that this isn't affecting, there's rain, heavy rain all the way back to Manhattan, Council Grove, but no sort of severe weather events going on there as far as hail or damaging winds and that kind of thing. But we have seen a lot of rain over this. This is just the last 1 hour. We'll go back and look at the 24-hour Doppler radar estimates here, and you can see some parts of Shawnee County easily over an inch, probably 2 or 3 inches, just north of north of Highway 24, and down to the south, some spots. There can be some hail contamination to this as well, but the radar indicates near Lebo to Melbourne, some spots easily over 3 inches of rain with this so far, and that will cause obviously some problems. So back on the velocity, that's the most dangerous thing we have going right now. Power lines, we've had people in Shawnee County advising to avoid power lines that are down and flooded intersections and that kind of thing. So that's obviously a danger as well. This is the area of the strong straight line winds we're concerned about. I want to mention is that Pomona area to Greenwood, heading into Ottawa in the next few minutes. And Lebo really looks like Lebo just had some very strong winds move through that are about to reach Waverly. So if you're in Waverly, you should be taking cover right now. Stay inside your house, away from windows. That's a dangerous storm with winds that are going to be 60 miles per hour or greater. And it's like the lines are kind of coming together, kind of two separate bows that show up that seem like they're joining up. Maybe the back one's catching up to the first one. But right here near Centropolis, Pomona, that's going to be the strongest of the straight line winds here in the next few minutes. And we had the report there of 75 mile per hour winds just really a few minutes ago that was affecting folks that were a few miles southwest of Overbrook. So we had the wind damage report there, 6 to 8 inch diameter tree branches down, and then also the 75 mile per hour winds reported 10:46 a.m. And those are official National Weather Service spotter reports. Another wind report up here. This is one that came in with the same line when it was moving toward Topeka, and we had it at 70 miles per hour at that time, tearing down some branches around Paxico. So after it passed Paxico and moved toward Topeka and Shawnee County, the line kind of split and favored the south part of the bow and started diving across Osage County, which is what it's doing now, and heading over into parts of Franklin and Anderson counties, the southern part of Douglas County, dealing with that as well. In the northern sections of Coffee County, this part near Waverly looks to me like it could produce winds that may be in excess of 60 miles per hour and possibly even a bit worse. That bright area of pink there that just passed over Lebo certainly looks like it has potential to do some wind damage. It's at least 60 miles per hour. It looks like it may even be a little higher than that. So if you're there in the Waverly area, we do encourage you to stay inside as this thing passes. All right, so we got the severe storm warning for Coffee, Lyon, and Osage counties, and it's going till 11:15 p.m., so another 20 minutes on that warning. And a little farther to the north here, we have the warning that's in for a big chunk of Osage, a small bit of Lyon County, and that's winds up to 80 miles per hour. And really the part that's in Lyon County could be removed any time. But that severe storm warning also in effect until 11:15, and I can't imagine that Lyon County needs to stay in that until 11:15. Even Osage County probably could be removed from that shortly. Let me go ahead and loop this. And absolutely the bow that was moving toward Lyon County is well past Lyon County at this point, and that bright area of red is what I mean. I'll kind of draw it in here. This is no longer in that northeast part of Lyon County, so that part can be removed. Although it might be confusing if they were to remove part of it. I don't know. But I would
just
say,
remove Lyon.
Okay.
And they're continuing Douglas, Franklin, Osage, and Shawnee County.
Okay.
Lightning strike damaged a power pole and caused small grass fire in 300 block of 4th and Americus.
Okay. So if you are in Shawnee County, and you're hearing you're in a severe storm warning, it's just for this corner of the county. It's a very small area, just really even east of Wakarusa. But the damaging straight line winds, I would say, look like they're out of Shawnee County. I mean, it's a real close call to drop that corner. But if you're in Topeka, you're not in a severe storm warning right now. Areas to the south across Franklin, Anderson counties have got certainly the highest risk of seeing strong straight line winds right now. There's a new severe storm warning for Coffee County coming in. And that's going to be it right there. And get the data on this one.
That one is for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts on that
Okay.
Anderson Coffee one until noon.
Go until noon, 70 miles per hour, and it says an automated weather stations and Doppler radar, and they also say a 55-mile-per-hour wind is reported at the Emporia Airport, just south of the city of Emporia. So we got an automated report of 55-mile-per-hour winds. You can't get damage to that, obviously. We've got some flooding reports or flood warnings coming in now, flood advisories. Let's see what these tell us. Are those flood advisories coming in, Doug? Or are they flood warnings?
There's just flood advisories,
Flood advisories.
no
okay.
warnings.
Okay. We'll check out the Doppler radar estimates of how much rain is actually falling here. So in the last hour, there's some spots just north of Highway 24 along 75 where it looks like we've seen at least 2 inches of rain, maybe a bit more in Shawnee County. These yellow areas are at least an inch, and the scale goes up a little higher than that, but there are some indications that maybe hail contaminated as well. Like Lebo, for example, is showing a really high number, but you also had a lot of hail fall around Lebo earlier today. So while I'm comfortable saying you had more than an inch, it'd be hard to say you had 6. It's not impossible, but it's less likely. But so there is going to be some flooding with this. We have not had any flood warnings. It's been flood advisories at this point. We do have the severe storm warnings, however. And again, we're going till 11:15 for a lot of Osage County, and then going till noon for this coming across the southeast part of Lyon County into the center part of Coffee County. And the velocity mode here, we'll put that back up. And we have kind of a bow segment. I'll draw that on here in a yellow. And that area right there is where we have strong straight line winds that are going from the northwest to southeast. And within that line, we've had winds doing some damage. Reports up to 75 miles per hour in a few spots. And certainly could be up to that level at this point in a few spots. But moving across Franklin, Anderson, and Coffee County, through lunchtime, through noon. And then most likely this will be the end of the hail and damaging wind episode here, and we'll settle into just some scattered thunder showers behind that batch of really nasty winds and hail. And the rain shouldn't last all afternoon, but we will still see some rain at times. But by far the worst of it is this thing going through the eastern part of Osage and starting to edge over into Franklin, Anderson County areas. And then the one in Coffee County, certainly 60-mile-per-hour winds are possible, but it doesn't look to be as quite as rough as the ones to the north, although it's farther from the radar too. Look at kind of the wider picture here. A line of storms developing across southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas. And then we have a severe storm warning there for Osage County into southeast Shawnee. That one's not going to be extended past 11:15.
I can turn off. We're not on air, we're just on Facebook.
So on regular service, what mile per hour winds do we have here locally?
I think we had a 70. Yeah, we had a 70. That was at Billard.
Okay, we had a semi that was blown off the road on Highway 70, or Highway 24, and we had all kinds of trees, traffic light damage and speed. So 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Is it most in the south side of town?
The semi
Okay.
But I believe a lot of the power outages were on the southwest side of town.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Those, the traffic. I'm going to say some of that can be lightning. All right. I'll loop this again. And this worst severe storm warning, the worst of them was this thing that's moving out of Osage County, expiring at 11:15. But most of that is out of Osage County at this point.
I wouldn't be surprised if they issued a flash flood warning for Osage County.
True.
Let's see who's calling. 13 Weather, this is Doug. How can I help you? All right, if you are listening to us on Facebook Live or on www.com, I'm going to cut off our stream so we can get ready for a midday. These storms are going to expire at 11:15, and that'll also allow Ian and our production crew to start getting midday ready as well. So just keep it updated on the WWW Weather app, and we'll keep updating you on Facebook and Twitter via text instead of updates via live video, and looks like the bulk of this system is now pushing in our far eastern communities and should start to wind down at least the main severe threat here in the next 15-20 minutes.